McLean from Elite Agent Magazine, and I am super pumped today to bring you another Transform lesson, this time from the host of the Real Estate Pros podcast. Of course, I'm talking about Josh Cobb. In the past couple of years, there is no doubt that Josh is the guy for digital marketing in real estate. And if you're not a subscriber to Real Estate Pros, there's a link on our website. In this episode, Josh gives some great examples of what other businesses inside and outside of real estate are doing to get noticed on social media. Here are the highlights.
I very quickly realised that the way sales was being taught in real estate wasn't fun for me. I didn't enjoy prospecting, I didn't enjoy cold calling, door knocking, letterbox drops, DL, all the stuff that you guys in real estate do extremely well. It wasn't fun for me. So I started looking at, I thought, surely we can get the phone to ring the other way. Surely there's businesses out there that have done this and it doesn't have to be this hard. So I started researching as much as I could about marketing, and these terms started coming up very quickly. Inbound marketing, content marketing, all these strategies that businesses were using to get people to come to them as opposed to them always cold calling. They still have their sales department who are doing all those things still very well, but they also complemented that outbound interruption style marketing with inbound strategies as well. And those two hand in hand worked extremely well for the businesses that I started to learn about. So Edelman do a study every year, guys, that they research tens of thousands of consumers from around the world about who they trust and why do they trust these companies. And what they found last year was that only 52% of people don't trust business. So if we just let that sink in for a minute, that means fewer than half of your landlords and half of your tenants actually trust you. Now that might be higher depending on your customer service strategies and what you do to add value to your consumers, but on average, this is the state of business today, that 52% of people do not trust business. The number two reason is that our personal and professional lives have converged. And what I'm going to do to sort of illustrate this fact is take you through my Facebook newsfeed. Who's got Facebook? Everyone on the other end has got a Facebook personal, yeah? And you use it for personal reasons, right? This is my Facebook newsfeed. Here's a post by my little brother where he says, 2 months of no exercise, now back into it. I tried jogging but didn't get too far. Now my little brother is getting married in April, so there's a reason why he's out jogging. I think he's trying to get a couple of pant sizes a little bit lower than what he is at the moment. But nonetheless, here's a post from a family member. Next is Ironman Triathlon. I mentioned before it's a company that I follow, it's a sport that I participate in, but it's a brand that I love, and the content that they post, I always want to keep up to date with things that are going on in the triathlon community. That's for me personally. The third post here's my wife. My ferns I planted on Sunday have already died. I didn't have even enough time to do something wrong and they already gave up. Someone please help. Now my wife is not a horticulturist by trade. The ironic thing about that is she's an intensive care nurse. And so if the hospital knew how she looked after our plants at home, I think we'd all be in trouble. And the fourth post here is Qantas. It's the only airline I personally fly with. I love the brand, the history of the brand, the story of the brand, everything about Qantas I absolutely love. And wherever we travel, it's the only airline we travel with. Now I'm pretty sure that for all of you, although the content would be different, the formula would be very much the same in your Facebook or social media newsfeed. It would be personal, professional, personal, professional. Would you all agree? So Facebook or Instagram or any of these platforms are the only places on the planet that you can see something from a business and then something from your mum next to each other. So what that means is you don't have to be better at marketing than other real estate companies or property management companies anymore. That is not the benchmark that we need to be shooting for anymore. You have to be more interesting, if not more interesting, or as interesting, helpful and human as my family and friends. That's the benchmark you need to be shooting for if you want to get attention when it comes to marketing online, offline, wherever it is. Because social media has created this little microcosm of content from family, from companies, from everyone. You are competing for attention against everything, not just other property management companies. So that's the number two reason why marketing is extremely hard today. I've termed the social property manager is someone that is all of those things that you can see on the screen there: inherently helpful, radically transparent, and human, just like our family and friends would be. So when it comes to marketing today, we don't need one or two of these ingredients in our marketing, collateral, our content that we create. We need all three if we want to get attention. So what I thought we'd do today is have a look at some non-real estate examples and some property management specific examples of companies that have changed the perception of the people in their marketplace and are winning attention over and above their competitors. So here's a little company you may have heard of called McDonald's. Now, McDonald's have had their fair share of perception issues around their food, around what's in it, how it's made, all those sorts of things. We're all aware with the perception that McDonald's has, right, in modern day society. So they started a campaign, it started in Canada back in 2011, I believe, called Our Food, Your Questions. So they were on a mission to change the perception of McDonald's in the communities in which they served. So they created this Our Food, Your Questions, where nothing was untouched. So all of the questions that you have about McDonald's food, it could be, is it really chicken in the Chicken McNuggets? Or how is it that a cheeseburger won't go off after being out on the counter for 3 weeks? All of these questions, nothing was left off the table. So they were quite happy for you to go to their website, ask any question you could possibly think of about McDonald's food, whatever it is, and they will come back to you and they will answer it in the form of a video or a post or some sort of content. So Our Food, Your Questions, what the video shows is essentially the results. So as a result of this campaign, McDonald's have increased the food quality perception scores and across all key measures. So their trust, the trust of their brand increased tenfold, and across all of their key measures. So in terms of customer service, food quality perception scores, all of these things started increasing as a result of this company, McDonald's, being inherently helpful, radically transparent, and human. So that's pretty bold by McDonald's to go out and say, no question is off the table. You can ask us anything you like, and we'll tell you exactly what the go is. Okay. So let's have a look at a couple of property management specific examples. So some of these companies you may have heard of. This is a business up in Brisbane called Image Property Management. And they've got 3 offices across Brisbane. And what Shannon Davis and the team at Image Property started to do with their website was essentially what McDonald's did with Our Food, Your Questions. And they wanted to be the Wikipedia of property management in Brisbane. That was their mission. So their website is essentially a repository or a resource library of every question you could conceivably ask about property management. That is the content they share on social media. That is the content they push out through email to their clients, prospects, anyone in their database. They're radically transparent, they're inherently helpful, and they're certainly human. You won't find a listing on their homepage. What they realise is the people coming to their website are not tenants looking for property to rent. They're going to the portals. So they instead started using their website as a centrepiece for landlords and property investors in Brisbane to come looking for that information and building them as the trusted authority in property management in Brisbane. So this is just an example of some of their frequently asked questions on their website. So when is the best time of year to advertise my property for rent? How long after I move out do I get my bond back? How do I break my lease? Have you all been asked those questions? Yes? Yes? So what they decided to do was to mine their information, mine their email, mine their questions that they've been asked everywhere in their business, and build a library of those responses on their website. They've got downloadable pieces of content, the landlord book of frequently asked questions, the 15 ways to increase cash flow, the 21 costly investor mistakes that could be putting your investment at risk. All these resources, they wanted to be the Wikipedia of property management in their local market. That was their mission. Next example is a property management and traditional sales business in Brisbane as well. Hail from Brisbane, so I had to use some Brisbane examples. Bradbell Real Estate. Some of you may have heard of these guys. They do get talked about quite a bit in the industry for some pretty cool strategies that they put in place with their marketing and content. Now, look at their homepage. This kind of says it all. You go to most real estate websites and it's either a picture of a listing or it's, hey, this is how many awards we've won. Here's how long we've been in the industry. List your property with us, 3 months free management, all these things that we use as marketing tactics. But look at their homepage. It says everything about who they are. Pretty powerful, yeah? We're here to help. So I'm thinking of selling, I need a property manager, I want to know what my property is worth, or I'm a landlord and I want to check my statements. So they're the 4 main people that are coming to their website, and very quickly when you land on that homepage, you very quickly know where it is that you need to go. So this says everything about their brand and what they're all about, which is helping. So they too went and built a library of super helpful, inherently or radically transparent content on their website. All of their staff get involved in this. It's not a marketing company or an actor or a film crew doing this. This is their team answering questions that they've been asked in email, at open homes, at auctions, at exit and entry condition report inspections, all those things. And their staff are there answering these questions on video. So once a month they get together, they write down a list of the top most asked questions that all of their staff have been asked, and whoever's been asked that question, it's their responsibility to stand in front of a camera and respond to that question. So when someone asks that question in an email, or it might be a landlord sending an email saying, hey, when do I get my statement? Why hasn't my rent hit my account yet? Or it might be a tenant saying, hey, how do I light a pilot light on a gas hot water system? All these questions that we get asked in property management, and they say, guys, we've answered that question on our website. Go here and watch this video. Plus you'll see all the other helpful pieces of content that we've got on there as well. What that does is when a landlord or a tenant receives something like that, what does that do? It blows their mind, right? Because they're thinking, that my last property manager, all they did was shoot me a quick response, or they had a signature in their Outlook that they just shot off to me, or what. Super helpful, radically transparent, and human. The 3 attributes of the social property manager. Certified social property manager, in my opinion. This example here, a company up on the Sunshine Coast called Property Only. So property management only company. Their office, if you're ever up on the Sunshine Coast, give Keith a call. He'd be happy to show you around his office. It is amazing. He's a surf fanatic. He's got about 1,000 surfboards around his office. They call it the boarding office. So he doesn't shy away from who he really is or who the company really is and what they stand for. He's a very relaxed, very lovely guy to talk to, and their business is very much in sync with who they are as humans. Their homepage says it all. We don't just manage properties, we manage people's wealth and financial freedom, and there's a difference. So that says everything about who they are as a brand, and their profile video on their homepage, I encourage you all to have a look at it today, is one of the best profile videos I have seen anywhere for a property management company, for the reasons that it is nothing about them. It tells a story about why people invest in property and why people can benefit from doing that. It's got nothing to do with them, all about their consumers. One of the best profile videos. Go and check that out later on today. They've also got a little library of frequently asked questions on their website that they continuously add to. And you may not be able to see it on the screen, guys, but down in the bottom of that screen there, it says, we're always looking for questions to answer. Please help us. What is one question you'd like to know more about, or a problem you'd like solved when it comes to property management or property investment? So when they're not even asking for a first name or an email, they're not asking for any contact information, but do you think they ever have an issue with coming up with new things to write about? So this is a company, in my opinion, who are all in with those 3 things: inherently helpful, radically transparent, and human. This is going across the Pacific to Washington. This is a friend of mine, Holly Beckman, who I had the pleasure of meeting a little while ago. Holly runs Apartminty in Washington, and Apartminty, Holly refers to it as the matchmaking service for tenants. So she's like a buyer's agent for renters in Washington and the communities that they serve. And what she did was started listening out to conversations on Twitter from tenants in the local community about looking for comments like, oh, I hate my roommate, or I can't wait till my lease is up, or oh, I really want to move to Washington, but it's really hard to find a place to rent. So she would look out for these conversations, not in a creepy way, but she'd just look out for those sort of things being said on Twitter, and she would chime into those conversations and say, well, look, I can help you with that, Kelly. We've got a great apartment that would be perfect for you. Let me help. Or come and see us. Or here's a link to the property on our website. Go and have a look. So she would proactively look for these conversations happening on Twitter, chime in and be helpful, radically transparent and human, just like a friend would be. So in 1 month, 30 days, she generated $150,000 US in new leases as a result of spending 10 minutes a day listening to people's conversations on Twitter and just offering her help. Total cost? $0 for 10 minutes a day. So was she inherently helpful? Radically transparent and human. So this is a mindset, and a lot of people, business owners specifically, nothing against business owners, I work with them everywhere, but there is sometimes a tendency to say, Josh, we list and sell property. That's what we do. We don't have time for any of this stuff. 10 minutes a day Holly spent, and the other businesses that we've looked at, they've made it their mission. That is a mindset and a business model that they see is going to get them attention in future, so they're all in. And in my opinion, you can't be in the middle, right, with this business model of being helpful and creating lots of content that people are actually looking for. There is no middle ground, in my opinion. It's either you're in, or you just keep going out there and interrupting people the same way real estate agents have done forever. That's the option for you, in my opinion. If we're not extremely helpful, radically transparent and human, in my opinion, it's going to be very difficult to get attention in future. Whether it's on social media, whether it's in offline, whether any marketing that you do, unless we're those three things, it's going to be very difficult to get attention. And I just want to leave you with this before if there's any questions as well, because if we stopped all of our marketing today in real estate, and this is a question for all of you, would anyone miss it? So that's where we need to get. That's where we need to get to. We need to think less like real estate agents. And if it's anything I've learned about learning from businesses all over the world who have built huge audiences, and I'll share some examples with you if you like. Companies that are succeeding at winning attention today, if they took away their content and they took away their marketing, they would have people who would be genuinely upset that they did that. That's where we need to get to with our marketing. And it needs to be those three things. Is inherently helpful, radically transparent and human with our marketing.
So there it is. The way to never have to cold call again is to answer your clients' questions being inherently helpful, radically transparent and above all human. If you'd like to hear more from Josh, check out his lesson from earlier this year in our Sales Transform program, where he also talks about search engine rankings, plus some of the other great tips that he has on content marketing. Remember, if you have missed any episodes of PM Transform, you can head online now to eliteagent.com.au/transform to catch up, and I will see you next week.